need to treat your sleep with the same level of seriousness and devotion as you would your favorite movie, work, or Jessica. It demands your best performance. So when bedtime rolls around, this is where you should be.
And I'm Jessica Wilson, that is, and you're listening to Making It Awkward, an independent podcast brought to you by people who won't be joining the cult of longevity and taking 100 supplements a day. You can support the show by rating, reviewing, subscribing, commenting, sharing it with a friend, and of course, joining the Patreon. Today, I'm joined by cult enthusiast and podcaster Jen Jacobs to discuss Re-Grifter Bryan Johnson, the guy who spends $2 million a year trying not to die. This episode will have some of Bryan's social media statements sprinkled in so you can get a feel for what he sounds like.
Look, guys, I've done a lot of crazy stuff when it comes to health protocols. I've injected millions of young Swedish bone marrow into my joints. In fact, now I speak Swedish.
Tita pumin bastu.
I removed all the plasma from my body. I spent 9,500 minutes in a hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber, and I even used my own son as my blood boy.
Central to Bryan's story is that before he decided to make his body live forever, he didn't want to live on Earth at all. Something that we will reference here a few times, so take care if you need. Bryan is the health and tech crossover personified. Many health tech intersections have been featured on the pod, including Callie Means and TrueMed, Casey Means and Levels, and Dr. Mark Hyman's 100 plus lab tests, and then AI health recommendations. Serena Williams and husband Alexis Ohanian are one of the newer couples we can add to that category. Williams took to social media a week ago to tell everyone that she's been on a GLP-1 for weight loss because even as a world champion athlete, she wasn't as thin as she wanted. I'm going to leave that declaration here and recommend heading over to my book, It's Always Been Ours, Rewriting the Story of Black Women's Bodies, for more context on why this cannot be a neutral statement in our society. Williams' GLP-1 announcement was actually an ad for the new telehealth company Ro. Ro says of its mission, quote, "It's not a shortcut, it's healthcare," end quote. And Serena's photo injecting herself with a GLP-1 is on the homepage. Her husband and Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian's website says he's a technology entrepreneur and investor who wants to be known for making this world better, much better. He says he's an investor in startups, almost always at the earliest possible stage, including 40 unicorns, companies worth at least $1 billion, which includes Ro. Who knows if Serena was taking the GLP-1 to get closer to thinness, to shrink herself, and conform to what society expects of Black women. Maybe she just wanted to get closer to becoming a billionaire, and perhaps both. The literal bottom line is that it was a great ad. If Ro had launched on a billboard or social media, I wouldn't have paid it much attention. It's just been a week since that ad, and I have Ro and its offering of a GLP-1 committed to memory. Serena's ad did its job. Now, millionaire Bryan Johnson is an ad for his own supplement company, Blueprint. And for the low price of $50, you can have a 1-month supply of his longevity powder. Blueprint offers a multitude of additional supplements on its website. Johnson rocketed to biometric fame for removing the plasma from his body and replacing it with the plasma of younger, healthier men, including his teenage son, Talmadge. People have said he has blood boys and that he's a vampire for this practice, which has helped amp up the rhetoric and attention, which he seems to crave more than the plasma. He loves talking about himself and the things that he uses to measure his body.
Yeah, erections of the length of the Deep Titanic movie.
Really? That's how big yours is?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So
You said your erection's the length of the Titanic?
The duration of the movie Titanic. So basically you could watch the entire movie Titanic and I would be erect the entire time.
Bryan Johnson was born into a Mormon family, attended church, and went on a Mormon mission. He married at age 24, had 3 kids, and was incredibly unhappy, but didn't feel like he could leave the church. In an interview with 032C, he said that after his marriage, quote, "I secretly stopped being a Mormon, but expressing my lack of belief would have meant divorce and being excluded from social life. I didn't have the courage to leave until I was 34. I got divorced and sold my company to PayPal for $800 million at the same time. My depression vanished," end quote. In the same interview, he says that he's only become the person we see today because of his 10 years of depression. He says, quote, "I drank too much alcohol, was 50 pounds overweight and suicidal. Every day my brain would say, in an endless loop, Bryan, your life is meaningless. You should kill yourself now and not wait for tomorrow. But first, have a big bag of brownies and a few drinks." He says he felt like he was remote controlled then, and shame and guilt had been instilled in me from an early age. Bryan's oft-repeated narrative is that he came to Blueprint and Don't Die after deciding to willpower himself out of that decade of depression and suicidal ideation. He decided to quit brownies and drinking and stop letting his brain make the decisions for him. In his documentary, Don't Die, he says, quote, "Our minds are the source of our self-destructive behaviors." And therefore, his next sentence and conclusion is, quote, "I would argue the mind is dead." End quote. In today's episode, Jen and I discussed that Netflix documentary, Don't Die, The Man Who Wants to Live Forever.
On January 1st, Netflix is dropping a documentary, Don't Die. A lot of people view this and they think I'm a vampire, rich billionaire trying to live forever for some kind of narcissistic reason.
I also reference a conversation between Johnson and Louis Theroux on Theroux's podcast, and also a conspirituality podcast about Johnson. The documentary chronicles Johnson over what seems like the year that Talmadge came to live with him before Talmadge left for college. Bryan's relationship with Talmadge is a strong point for the documentary. In the documentary, Bryan calls Talmadge, quote, "the perfect specimen." The two eat the same thing every day. Bryan curiously eats 2,000 calories a day, which sounds like a very unscientific, suspiciously round number. He says the saddest part of his day is his last bite, which might be something that sounds familiar to many of us. Breakfast time for both Bryan and Talmadge includes eating a nut-based meal in a bowl while doing splits together in their living room. One morning, the two are talking, and Bryan says that he is going to take 130 supplements. Talmadge says he's just going to take 26. The two work out together and have photo shoots together. The documentary also features his social media assistant, Kate, who seems to be a true believer of Bryan.
A lot of people think that what I do is very complicated and very expensive. It's not. It's actually very affordable. My morning routine is actually dramatically simplified from where it was before. I've maybe done 10 things: weighed myself, inner ear temperature, light, hair serums, hair cap, longevity mix, and night pudding. Very clean mornings, like very easy. So the moment I get out of bed, it's the same sequence of steps every day, and you probably do the same in your life as well. Just map out those steps, structure it in a way it just happens every day, and you don't think about it. And then now I'm going to work out, where it's not a question if I'm going to work out, I just do it every single day.
Curiously, Bryan says our first response to his rigidity is panic, not for concern with his mental health, but because his choices are a threat to our own free will. Interesting. And I will say that I did hear some of that strong reaction from Theroux, who repeatedly asked Johnson if he ever liberalized his practices just for a good time. This intro could go on forever, but I'll end it there and bring you Jen. Jen, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are the first person I thought of. I know your passion for researching cults. And so I wanted to get your take. So are there things that you loved about Bryan Johnson, perhaps your top three?
Yeah. I mean, my first look at it, the father-son relationship, the trio of Bryan, his son, and his dad. Mm-hmm. And like, the way he can get them on board is very telling, especially his dad. When it's your kid, it's like you have a little more sway over what they're doing and what you can convince them to do. But there's just something funny about like the end clip where the dad is getting the gene therapy and he's like, they look at each other and flex their arms. I was like,
gonna be stronger.
This is like the most wholesome part of it, I have to say. I think him and his dad, and his son, I feel differently. I don't know. We don't need to cover that too much, but I also really liked watching him dance at his events. I don't even know if that was in the documentary or just saw it somewhere else. He's got his like crop top on so everyone can see his abs.
Yes.
Glowing in the dark because he's extremely pale. I assume the sun is bad for longevity.
That's what I was wondering about too.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, his insistence that he must take 80 pills a day. I think everyone loves that piece of it too, but
Mm-hmm.
just watching him actually down this variety of, of just capsules, I'm like, I don't want to. I would never want to.
No.
Yeah. So he's just a very quirky guy. I am curious if you have any thoughts about him being on the spectrum.
Yes. So I am going to try and not diagnose a multitude of things.
Yes. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
He did say he's never been, I looked it up to see if he's ever talked about it in one interview, because I wanted to see him actually say something, if there's anything to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, I've never been tested for it. And then asked the host, do you think I have it?
Yes.
So, and she said yes. But I didn't stick around for the whole thing. It wasn't a very scientific podcast or anything. So, but I'm curious, like,
yeah.
But I think he is just a special way beyond any diagnosis. So
that's a lovely way to put it. The things that I was hearing in his routines, the way that he was able to be so inflexible with anything and everything.
Yeah.
Flagged neurodivergence and also eating disorder.
Yeah.
Right. Yet the rigidity of being, I think he said at one point, every calorie he eats has a purpose. It is fighting for its life in his body.
Man,
I was like, wow, I've heard that before. His idea that he fired Evening Bryan, because Evening Bryan would eat brownies standing in the kitchen. So we needed to get rid of him. I was like, this is sounding a way that I've heard. But yes, some sort of neurodivergence as well. And in my not trying to judge him, I was saying I'm not trying to judge him. And when I say that, I am judging him. So we're just going to say I am judging the way that he looks. And it so participates in looksism. He does.
When you're analyzing the whole package, it's hard not to take in things that are maybe
concerning,
more subjective. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're allowed to be subjective on some of his characteristics.
Okay. I've seen a before of his face.
Yeah.
There are different shades and tones and
his
eyes. Perhaps, he was having a rough time then, but there was still something behind his eyes and they had color in them.
He hadn't become fully robotic yet. Because, everything feels, so precise and measured. And I think he just let that side of him take over fully.
Yeah.
And was like, those emotions, ew, I don't like those.
Gross.
How can I avoid that? Let me dissociate completely into from this measured lifestyle.
And yes, the son, I think, must age at some point, a part of him. I see. Yeah. On the surface, if you were going to hear all of the things that he does, we hear the supplements, we hear the food, the working out for an hour, all of these things. He plays table tennis with his son. He goes to appointments. All of this is in his home, right?
Yeah.
Except for gene therapy in an unregulated country.
Yeah.
Yes. His gym is in his home with low lights. The table tennis is underneath an eave in his home. He has the appointments in the medical facilities he has set up at his home. And
that's his enclosure. He's got his enrichment. This is like how I would take care of a reptile, like I've got your heating rock here. I've got your faux sunlight so you get your vitamins. I add a little dusting of minerals to your crickets and I leave you to it.
Yes. So no sun, no emotions, no, yes, none none of that, and it shows in all of
his
it.
presentation. Yeah.
His presentation. Yes. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned these 80 pills, and I, being a regular person, as we've heard, and pays a decent enough amount of attention to her health. I like taking all of those pills at one time. Okay, my pills, fine, first of all. But the calcium, the magnesium, all of those things.
They're not going to absorb, right?
Like I try not to eat them at the same time because they're going to bind to each other and just be like.
And you won't absorb it.
No.
That's like, if you want iron, don't take it with your calcium and vitamin D. Like, take calcium and vitamin D. Take vitamin C and iron. But take them at hours apart. Because otherwise you're just taking pills to make your stomach hurt for nothing.
Well, right. Yeah. And with my pills, I've taken them for 30 years. I'm used to just chucking them back.
Yeah.
And just keep going. So I tried that with all my supplements at once and I fully choked. And I was like, this is not the way to do this. But then I have to remember to do it another time. What?
That is the challenge. I'm like, I got to prioritize. Whichever one seems more important is the one that will happen in the morning. Yeah. And then I just have to hope the next one happens.
Yes. Am I waking up in the middle of the night to take my calcium so it's not going to bind with my multivitamin? I'm not doing it.
No. I refuse.
No.
Well, you can't interrupt your sleep anyway, because that would be bad. I agree. Like, sleep is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pills.
Right. It's a lot. 80 is a lot. Unsure how it's working. And again, as Lexi said, don't change a bunch of things at once because which one is working? Do we know? Yeah. Is it 80 that are working together synergistically? Or is it like 2?
Right. That was one of the big things I saw with anybody who had a scientific background that was commenting on his lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They were like, for every person that thinks all this data is going to be really useful, there's a scientist going, well, no, there's way too many variables. We can never narrow down what's actually working. So whether or not he shares this data is irrelevant. It's, I mean, he thinks an N of 1 is useful.
Right.
He said so himself. Like, he's like, I think there's a lot of value in that. But for whom?
Right. All of my N of 1s are for me. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that makes it sound very clear. He's not doing this for some greater good.
No, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But his idea that he's going to give it to the whole world, literally, to solve aging, to not glorify death was another thing that he said, is what we're doing when we just accept it.
What American culture?
Yeah,
we have
like beyond individualism, like him doing this thing and then thinking it will be.
And aging is a bad thing.
Yes.
Like,
that
the amount of surgeries and things people do just to look younger. It's like such a. I feel like there are other cultures see benefit in aging in people who are older without them having to look younger. So it just really seeds off of that, which makes me go, okay, well, is this back to purity and youth and Christianity? Probably.
Well, yeah, let's get into that. It wasn't until we were doing this research that I realized how much of a role that Mormonism played for the first 35 years. And the first sentence that I heard, I was like, oh,
clicks.
I am not a scholar, right, of religion in any terms, but still.
Me either.
Right. I'll link to a podcast interview with somebody who was. He discussed and introduced the idea of transhumanism to me.
Which is a new term to me.
It is apparently it's been around, but transhumanism, according to Science Direct, is the position that human beings should be permitted to use technology to modify and enhance human cognition and bodily function.
Mormonism.
Right.
I didn't realize it varied much between churches or anything. I thought I know like Christianity has all its different sects, but Mormonism, I assume, must have a bunch of branches too that I just have no idea about.
Right.
I kind of lump it all together.
I was like, this is not different.
Yeah. Like, did he actually leave that practice?
Mm-hmm.
Because he says he did.
Right.
But how is that different than what he's doing now?
Mm-hmm. That's the question. And in the context of religion and his claims that he has left, or like, and you know, in his claims that he has left and just doesn't align with the church anymore, I have also seen him compare himself to the church or to religion in general.
The leader, the person who came up with Mormonism, he was saying he wants to be like that person.
Joseph
and then
Smith.
in the and then in the documentary even compares himself to Jesus, saying there's no evidence that what Jesus did helped anyone. But he has seen how these leaders, whatever religious leaders, can direct people into a better life or whatever. So he thinks he could do that even better. And that is a first red flag if there's ever been one.
I believe he has said that his only competition is Jesus. We're in competition with Jesus.
Yeah. I'm not a religious person. I don't follow any particular faith. But for people who do follow Christianity and Jesus, I think the point is to have like a togetherness and community and care for each other and not have one person be everything to everyone.
Maybe.
That's my assessment of a lot of it, but
his quote is, "Jesus Christ is my greatest rival."
Oh, that's even better.
What?
That really makes you sound like the devil. He has fallen from grace.
Interesting. So Jesus is helping people live forever, but not in their ageless body. And so he is helping people live forever in their body still. Is that what's happening?
I think so, now that you say it like that.
I don't know.
And like he doesn't follow Mormonism anymore. Like it makes me just so curious. And like I know there's probably hours-long philosophical debate, so it just keeps going down to then why? So, and for him, it just feels like it's a challenge that he wants to accomplish. But yeah,
but
I don't know. It's so bizarre. So bizarre.
He has also said that death and dying is a technical problem.
It's a skill issue.
That we can solve. And so is this just his hobby? I mean, rich men need hobbies.
And he is his own hobby.
Yes. And does not take well to criticism. In the Netflix documentary, it's quite interesting. They put a couple, like you mentioned already, people who talked about how his science is not going to help other people. Yes. And even we don't know about the long-term like impacts of what he's doing generally, like on the body and stuff like that. So there was like a few people who disagreed with him, but otherwise the criticism was coming like in clips from news. It was coming from like Reddit and comments and things like that. And it was like, you're paying
They just
attention?
don't get it.
Right. And
like it almost feels like discrediting any criticism right off the bat, because it's like, oh, it's just coming from media, which you can't trust anyway, because they're the ones that tell you to take pills to feel better and big pharma and blah, 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 blah.
Well, right. Isn't that another fun thing that we have another dichotomy that's going on? Get it from your food, but also.
Yeah. But also all these
But
specialists
also-
that I work with.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was listening to him on the Louis Theroux podcast, and Thoreau did bring up some criticism about how you could be using your money around the world. You know, people need to eat, people are dying elsewhere. Like, this is just a suggestion.
You could be increasing the longevity of a lot of people
easily. With that, right, with that $2 million that you're spending.
Yeah.
On yourself. And then he said that these critics are referring to what he calls wicked problems. Like, take your wicked problem, which is like inequality or whatever the issue is, and they take this thing and they point at it, the person. They're like, well, what about this? Checkmate, motherfucker.
Oh, whataboutism.
Yes. And he wants to know, like, when that happens, what do you want the person to do that they're not doing? And like, this is not a conceptual situation here. Like, we want you to spend your money elsewhere.
We're not asking you to go hand feed people or something. It's like there are organizations you can give money to that are already well established, but don't have funding.
Right.
Give them money.
Yeah. He says that, so someone sees what I'm doing and they say, okay, there's a narcissistic tech bro billionaire asshole. He's obsessed with himself. He's holed up in his home. He's drinking his son's blood. This motherfucker is bad for society. He's got a cube on his boner. Anyhow, his response to all of those critiques is they're really misrepresentations of what he's doing. And the case with me entirely, this is the point of the entire endeavor that I've done this for the sake of humanity. This is not narcissistic. And I'm like, what?
What's his definition of narcissistic then?
What's his definition of for the sake of humanity? Who asked for this, friend? Did anybody?
And I was trying to find what data exactly he shares with other organizations or scientists. And it was hard to find anything. I think since he started selling stuff, especially, he probably wouldn't just hand over a bunch of raw data. It sounds like, and again, this is just like a source that had no, I didn't have any primary sources to go off of, but someone suggested that he's only giving data that's already been adjusted. So like, instead of 1,400 people that he had at one of his events, all of that data being handed over to the top 300 and how this thing affected this thing. So it's like pre-interpreted data versus raw data.
Right.
So that alone is already, it might as well just be garbage, because what if your analysis is totally different than mine? And like, I can't actually assess that because you've already taken outliers off or whatever. Like, it's just, it's really, how is that good for anybody except himself?
How is that good is a great question. Thoreau again was going through the argument of, isn't it, connection? Isn't it living that we want to be doing, not doing all these restrictive and rigid practices that don't allow for a lot of life to be lived? Yes, and to be experienced, because you have to have the same routine literally every day. And he doesn't answer that exactly. He says, so I would say that if you were to compare my sex life and my relationship well-being and my levels of happiness and my overall energy for life, I bet I score higher than almost anyone that I'd be compared to. Also, I have a robust community of friends. I'm very happy. My sex life is wonderful.
No sex after 8 p.m. though.
He didn't say he had friends.
You ever feel lonely?
I really do feel very satisfied in my own mind. And that is a very big difference from when I was depressed, my mind was my enemy. I could never escape my mind. I genuinely enjoy being with myself. That, I think, in talking to others, I think that is rare. I think a lot of people, they do like the company of others because it takes them off their own mind. But I genuinely enjoy spending time in my own mind. So no, I don't really feel loneliness.
He didn't say he has sex. He said his sex life is robust. He didn't say, he says a robust community of friends. Like, that is subjective.
Yeah.
Is it the people? Yeah. Are these the doctors in your house? This is one social media woman who is like his
Kate.
friend. Right.
Kate was, not to derail too much, but she was immediately a red flag for me because she has the follower mentality for
Yes.
him.
Mhm.
Because she was immediately defending him, saying the criticism is bad. The way she looks at him, like he's a divine figure.
Mhm.
Like, you could just see how obsessed she is with him. And that's the kind of person that unfortunately will bring others into the fold.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
baby cult starting there.
Yes, she said she learned about him, I believe, and then learned what he was trying to do. And at first was like, that's silly. But then I was like, oh, don't I want to be living my best life at 80 and running around and things like that. And I just realized how
Yeah,
great.
I can't eat this stuff and I can't do this. And
Mm-hmm.
the indoctrination
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Right. So they spend, it looked like every day together, but that, documentaries can misconstrue.
I could believe she's just like a live-in
Oh, yeah.
assistant at this point.
Totally. So yes, he's not saying he said he has a robust community of friends and his sex life is great. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I'm glad you feel that you're connected, but if you're trying to rebut like an argument of having like social connection and having multiple people and having these, points of contact and these things, like, you have not done that. You have not convinced me that having fewer friends and having like an ambiguous, I don't know, sex life is good for me. Like, you have not sold me on your life.
Yeah.
And the idea that having few friends and who knows what's happening with sex is better than having multiple friends outside of my life. I don't know. It
just clicked. Something just dawned on me. So one of the things he said when he was a kid, he would separate, at school.
Yeah.
He saw the different groups of people, figured out who was the alpha or leader of that group, befriended them so he could infiltrate and be friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's not friendship from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's networking, which I realize with he does like these hiking excursions, and now he's going to be doing other events that are all sold out already from what I saw on his website. Mm-hmm. That's that's just like a mechanical view of friendship. Like, not only am I going to get these people to be my quote unquote friends, they're going to pay me to do it. So now I've optimized yet another thing in my life. I've got community. It's fine. I checked the box. See, all these people are around me. Like,
yeah.
But that's a sad. To me, that feels really sad. People who feel like they need to. He's not even spending money to be friends with. It's actually so. Maybe he's really figured it all out. Maybe that is the trick. We need to get people to pay for us.
To pay us to be our friends.
Wow.
I mean, that is the parasocial influencer culture. But I mean, I don't think influencers would say these are my friends. And it seems like he is saying these people are my friends.
Yep. Those are the people he's doing the dance parties with. Because did you look at his event? The cheapest ticket's only $249.
$2.49.
$249. It has $499 slashed out. Again, it's all sold out.
Yeah.
All right. What happens at the Don't Die Summit?
Welcome to the Don't Die Summit. We just gathered 1,000 of us to celebrate life because we are at war with death and its causes.
Don't Die literally changed my life.
I like the energy.
There's a loving energy.
We started the activities with an evening discussion exploring the philosophies around Don't Die. In the morning, we gathered for a rave. The vibe was as good as any party I've ever been to. We then did 7 biological age assessments. We explored the future of human existence. We gathered together for a discussion on how to improve our health and wellness by building life systems, habits, and being disciplined. We had delicious blueprint food all day long. And then throughout the day, people were able to hang out at the longevity amusement park. These are all things I use in my life. And people were able to test and trial the products. It was hands-on interactive.
Getting my DNA tested, it's like epic.
And then we ended the day with a sing-along. It was really a genuine, wonderful community event. We felt connected, we made new friends, and it was a very happy event. But the night wasn't over yet. At the after party, we danced and drank healthy mocktails. We celebrated life, vitality, and everything Don't Die stands for. At Don't Die is not just about living longer, it's about living fully. Why? Because we have things to do tomorrow.
So that's the outline of his summit. And yeah, feels like a lot of forced friendship opportunities.
Right. I mean, I go to conferences to network with professionals.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. I don't go to conferences, going to
You don't want to do a morning rave?
No. Okay,
Sure.
so all of that was interesting because I was like, so does this happen between the hours after I've done my 1 hour workout and taken supplements and between 7:30 because I have to be in bed by 8:30? And I
Right.
mean, yeah, what is this after hours? What is the like is 5:30? Is
Well,
that
Longevity
after?
Disneyland is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the after party must be 5 p.m. to, 7:30, right? How
Mhm.
strict.
Mhm.
Here's your fun allotment. That's
Yes.
it.
What would it be like to be like the group of shame who goes to like the bar afterwards? Like that.
I think you'd get
Because-
kicked out. You'd get
Yeah.
kicked out of the Don't Die citizenship.
Right. Speaking of the drinking, when Louis Theroux was interviewing him, he couldn't get over that there was no cheat day. He couldn't get over that there wasn't just like one time he had a drink. He wasn't necessarily like obsessed with this idea of this like purity and restriction, but the number of times he asked about it, I don't know if it made him like about Thoreau and how bad he was feeling for doing these things, or he just couldn't believe that somebody wouldn't engage in what most of us would find fun. Like he just couldn't fathom it.
Yeah.
Granted, this guy's from the UK, where I think, I don't know, less individualistic over there, and perhaps people would go for a pint, like just a part of pint
Post-work,
culture,
kind of, yeah.
yeah. But that's not happening.
Well, it wouldn't be worth it for Bryan
No,
because it would affect him
but would it?
negatively.
Does he know that? I don't know.
I don't know what he knows.
I don't know.
But that's where like that robotic piece for me comes in. That's why it feels like with all that structure and no release, like part of being human to me is making mistakes or like making choices that aren't just for optimization. I don't want everything I do to just be for tomorrow's body that I live in because then you're not very mindful in living in the moment at that point. And like you could literally just die tomorrow. Like he could have a heart attack at any time.
He could step out in front of a bus.
He could. How much do you think he avoids?
Yeah.
Every
Accident.
part of society, like just to be careful.
Right. That would ruin the experiment.
Experiment, yeah.
Ruin the algorithm. Yeah, we'll say that. He also said when he fired Evening Bryan, he just became software. It is interesting to me, and I'm looking at my chalkboard. The healthfluencers, the like fanaticism about health, and our country's reduction in religion and believing in like a solid core religion makes it easier for people to attach to the Hubermans, the Mark Hymans, the Joe Rogans, etc. But I feel like he is like seeing how he can capitalize on that even more in like the religion and culty stuff. And I will ask you about any culty stuff because he has not denied. Well, and he said at some point vaguely that this is a cult, but it's a good one. I don't know.
When he asked his son, how do your friends see me, do you think? And the son said, well, if this was one of my friends' dads, I would say he's starting a cult. And that's not a bad thing, Dad.
Right.
I was like, is that fear? Partly fear from the son talking? Because, but there's been a couple throwaway comments where he's like, oh yeah, I'm starting a cult now. Like, but what's the big deal if I was? So it's like, how much are you actually joking here? I think and especially with like the Jesus and Mormon comments, I think he does believe he should be worshipped for everything he's doing. I don't think it's a cult quite yet, though health and wellness there is definitely a lot of opportunity for cult-like mentality there because people who are disillusioned with the current healthcare system, with all of the craziness, especially, America, I mean, the whole world, but America right now is very divided and people want something to hold on to that feels right. And someone saying this is, look, I'm reading all these tests results and everything, and I'm being the test subject for you. I'm sacrificing my body to potentially find a better life for you guys. That is very cult leader like behavior. I have the answers, so if you just follow me and make sure you pay into my supplements and everything so I can keep this going, follow my blueprint, like that is a sure way. And the people who end up in cults are not stupid.
Right.
Like people tend to get that part twisted. It's not foolish people that are ending up in cults. It's people who maybe they came from an abusive background. Maybe there's something that feels missing in them. And it's a opportunistic thing coming from Bryan to say, well, let me give you that thing that's missing so you feel fulfilled. And I think cult as a definition is so tricky too, because I was looking around and I found an article written by a Scientologist that was like, cult is just a derogatory term that people use for groups they don't like. I don't think that's accurate. I think it's when it becomes dangerous. And encouraging people to try gene therapy is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. Even just the supplements. Because what if these people have kidney issues, heart issues? I had a friend who didn't realize she was taking 10,000 IU vitamin D 3 times a day. She thought it was 1,000. She ended up with her thyroid totally messed up.
Wow.
And she had to, it was like all over the place for a little while. She had some pre-existing conditions, sure, but that much vitamin D is, you can overdose on quote unquote good things.
Right.
Like even exercise, like.
Oh, perfect example.
You know, if your body's not conditioned, what is it? Rhabdomyolysis? Yeah.
Yep.
Like your body's just going to start eating your muscles and then you die.
Basically.
So there's so many things that if it's not monitored by someone who actually understands it, it is dangerous. And that's where I think I say it's an emerging cult. I wouldn't say it's a cult yet necessarily, but more events happening, things like that. There's going to be more people that want to stick to him. He's going to end up with a cohort And that's when it becomes dangerous, I think, because, you know, it's everything I've watched. It's like he'll get some people to believe him, and those people, it's a networking system. It really is. Because I'll tell you, and you'll tell your friend, and if it hooks the right person at the right time, they're gonna invest themselves into it. So it's a little scary, but that again, that's true for a lot of the health and wellness stuff. I don't know, and then it's like, what are these people, the influencers, the leaders? What are they getting out of this? And it usually is money,
right?
Supplements, you know, blueprints for living. It's just money.
It's just money. Like, how are you going to continue to afford $2 million a year, friend?
And that's how.
Right. Granted, you got like 800 million. Yes, but I mean, according to you, that's not gonna last as long as if you don't die like that. That's not gonna last.
That's true. Yeah, it's compounding.
And yeah, inflation, not dying is going to become more expensive as you go along.
So true.
With the cult piece, this was interesting to me and surprising. I was listening to Conspirituality talk about Bryan Johnson after the documentary came out, and they were talking about how the documentary humanized him and made him seem even charming, and like they would want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. I did not feel that way at all. I was creeped out by a variety of things. But if people are hearing, I won't say especially men, but like if these guys who are supposed to be so critical of everything cult-like and spiritual are finding this guy like somebody they said that they would want to go on a hike with. I was like, oh, like something of this is appealing. They really appreciated showing the relationship between son and father.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels rude to say that creeped me out, and it
made me uncomfortable.
It made me uncomfortable. And the photos that I've seen with them together, with the son like draped over dad and like without any shirts on. It made me uncomfortable.
I think, you know, family systems there's a wide variety, and I can't say that automatically equals a problem.
No.
But I think it does normalize a behavior to other people that would say, if my parent is close to me without a shirt on and encourages me to also be in that position, it's kind of a slippery slope to, okay, well, mom or dad asked me to sleep in the bed with them. And without getting to, I don't want to, you know, make this anything triggering, but what happens next? If you think that's okay, then what other boundaries can be crossed? And you go, it's just a loving parent. It's just my parent showing their affection for me. Like, that's where it's, I think, automatically makes me uncomfortable. But, you know, that's not going to be everyone's perspective. There's, you know, some relationships that works. But I almost get the impression, too, that he wants to be his son.
Oh, 1000%.
And like,
and he has said, you know, he wants to be his twin. He thinks is his twin. He said his son is his best friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, so, I mean, I know that's got to be normal or that's got to be happening in some relationships, but it seemed like the son was also the only friend here. And he was,
we had a connection from the moment he was born. I was the only one who could soothe him when he was crying.
Yeah.
It feels there's something off there for me, because he's also, if he was like that with all of his kids, and I know we can't see that because they're separated, but he is insisting this connection has been special and unique with this one son. it's like, okay, that's weird because that's not just you being parental and expressing your affection that way to your children.
Children.
It's this one child, and that, you know, I'm really proud of the son for going to college,
Right.
and not having his dad live with him somehow. You know what? I was ready for Bryan to be like, I'm moving into the dorms.
I thought he was going to like UCLA or USC and continue. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And him moving into the regular dorms, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. How gauche.
I did that.
So I was happy to see that part of it.
He left.
I mean, it at least will give the son an alternate perspective of living.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that puts some boundaries between them. So Bryan doesn't just try to absorb him in his youth and I don't know, live vicariously through him.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Attached to him.
Yeah. So that goes back to like the conspirituality podcast saying it was really nice to see like dad a relationship like being one of like love and not hyper masculine in men. And
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yes and no.
Right. Like, and I'm glad that was important and to see how much a dad loved his son, because that could definitely be important for some people, and I won't.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if it's the majority of people or not, but something has got to feel a little off, at least to a group of people watching it.
Yeah. I saw the pictures of him and his son. The first ones I saw were like him and his son giving dad a bunch of plasma.
Yeah.
Yes. So Bryan Johnson had, I believe it was 6 plasma donations from 6 other people before his son came and gave dad plasma. And I can see having a rich parent and wanting to participate. Like I would do a lot for a rich parent probably if I were 17, you know? And somebody who'd help me leave the church and all of these things, which again goes back to like the profit of it all. Like if this person, I wouldn't be saying man or dad, had helped me in so many ways, like I would give gallons of plasma. I would do.
But that inherently feels manipulative, and it's like someone in a position of power asking someone under them to do something. Yeah. They're more likely to say yes. It's coercion to some degree because that's your parent. You're supposed to do what they want. He rescued him from the Mormon lifestyle. He did this. I owe him my youth. Right. And he's, you said he's 17, right? He's a minor technically, like when that started. So even that, it's who is advocating for the kid's best interest if the dad is the one seeking alternative treatments. It's like
mom is out
someone put their like 6-year-old in a hyperbaric chamber and he ended up passing away because it malfunctioned.
Did that happen?
These alternative health things, who's responsible in that case? The parents who sought that treatment and let it happen, even though they knew it was a risk and it wasn't like a real medical facility. Like, what if something goes wrong with the son in result to what his dad is putting him through? Who's responsible there? It just becomes such a tricky dynamic. And I feel like he should do whatever he wants with his own body, but I don't think he should involve his child.
Yeah, that's what Trampa said about the raw milk for sure is, and in Florida, a mom fed raw milk to her child who ended up with multiple stays in the hospital for a variety of gastrointestinal illnesses. And mom lost her fetus because she, got whatever it was from the child she fed the milk to. And the milk was marketed as pet food in the store where she bought it.
Wow.
So making that decision.
Right. And it's not just ignorance completely, which even if it's ignorance, it's still negligence and you can still get in trouble. So when someone's actively making that decision, that's where it's like, I just don't know. I would not trust them ever
Mhm.
again to care for a child.
Fair.
So, yeah. So that relationship just becomes really weird and complicated to observe.
It is, yeah, to observe, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
And maybe he's happy. Maybe he is fine with it.
yeah, we'll put that out there as well.
I hope that's the case,
Yes.
and that he feels like he is autonomous and like he makes his own decisions. He's not just doing it because he feels like he has to. But I really don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. It was a lot
Mm.
for me to just, to witness.
But yeah, the humanizing piece of it. There were moments where I was like, not anything with the interactions of his son. With his father, there were some moments where I was like, this is almost sweet listening to, his parents talk about him. But also that just means they're part of this religion. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And mom said, like, I had been so worried about him.
Yeah.
But now you're right. And I assume that mom is still Mormon.
I think so. Yeah.
And mom was just so happy that he had found this particular path. And I was like, do you mean he found this religion and that makes you, happy for him? She was saying he's so much, better. His affect is better. He seems a lot happier now that he has been doing this thing.
Which it does still align with the transhumanism that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So maybe she is happy because he's still doing some of the practices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Him seeming happy is something I assume you would want.
Yeah.
For your diet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
The other piece too, I feel like there is something about a person who is not in the scientific community doing this. I feel like a lot of the population like someone who feels relatable. And they're looking at this guy who, okay, he's got more money than me, but he's looking at these scientific studies himself and making his own judgment for himself. I now feel empowered that I could do that too. I trust him because he's like me. He's probably very smart and like clearly he looks at a lot of stuff. I don't know how much his interpretations are accurate, but he doesn't feel like someone talking down to us.
Right.
And I think that's the relatability piece. I think those are the people who can best bring people to them. I don't know.
While reading interview with Bryan in 032C, 032C, we can use what we want. The interviews asked specifically, did the money cure you of the mental health challenges that he had been facing? And he says, no, I don't care about money and I don't have any expensive needs. I own this house and an electric car by Audi. I don't aspire to own anything else. The fact that I have my hands in about 50 biotech companies is merely a means to an end. I use the profits to finance visionary ideas and my journey to find eternal youth, the greatest biological revolution since the dawn of time.
He's delusional.
Right. Like there are parts where I'm like, this is sad. Like the stories that you have been able to tell yourself because you were not questioned.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to have, if I were able to have compassion for billionaires, I might, because this is sad.
Yeah.
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 I think
it's like a new level of grifter, really. Because this is another one. I feel like we're always asking this. Is he convinced of what he's doing and saying? With him, I think he actually might be with a lot of it.
Believer.
Yeah. Which is, that's another piece of like cult mentality is often the leader is aware that they're manipulating people and not necessarily being totally honest with their cohort, their people. I think he thinks he is being absolutely authentic and honest with people. For now.
Until he dies.
He's going to live forever, actually. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Until he's on hospice care. And
Do you think DNR status, so like do not resuscitate, do you think he would want to be kept alive by machines?
Yes.
For like as long as possible?
Because his son is going to come along.
That still checks off life.
Yep. Somebody's going to come along. Well, he has said a gazillion times, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Technology is going to continue in advance. So if today somebody wasn't able to bring him back, you know, keep him there until somebody can.
I don't know how likely it is to get brain function back once it's gone. I don't know if that's even possible with the best medicine and future.
But that's your catastrophic thinking of today.
True. Yeah.
So, right.
Boy.
Another thing that I found in that article, the 032C, in with Thoreau and in with the conspirituality guys, they take Bryan's word and like consider it the end of the of that section of the conversation. I have a great sex life and relationships. Move on. I am giving back to humanity via my blueprint. Move on. Like that's an answer. Like that doesn't deserve questioning. In my brain, I've come up with 5 follow-up questions to what he just said.
Yeah.
But it is said like it is truth, so let's move on.
Critical thinking, media literacy, etc., etc.
Or is it because you don't question rich people because you're enamored with them and from you? I don't know. Truly, I don't know what it is. I've only also heard men talk about him. So like, do they want to be him? I don't know. I'm not even guessing, but I am just consistently surprised.
Yeah, it's become more and more clear to me based on administration and everything currently that I do not think as similarly to everyone else as I thought. I am very lucky to be Northeast, New England, blue state, etc. So there, but even in blue states, even in my own town, there's plenty of people who disagree with my my thought process.
Fair.
So, yeah.
I've said on social media already that this guy is looking at people die all around him and still talking about his blueprint, right? Just his ability. What is that? Like his ability for empathy or understanding. People are, throwing narcissist out there, but I just don't know if he has the capacity to human. Like
he might be a sociopath. Again, like let's not diagnose him.
Sure.
But he does share qualities with people who have lower empathy skills.
Yeah.
And him avoiding his emotions when he got really depressed and thought about killing himself. I think that was actually, I don't want to say the most relatable part, but that was the most interesting part to me. Is like, this was the catalyst
for all of this.
And if he avoids his own emotions, why would he entertain the emotions of anyone else? You got to get on board with him or you're just wrong.
Yes. You're glorifying death.
He's very binary in his view of people, I think. Either you're with him or against him. It feels very extreme.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes it a lot easier to cut people out of your view.
True.
I'm not worried about those people because they'll never even have enough money to try these treatments. I'm helping them. Like, he really has to talk himself into this.
They will be dead by the time I figured out how to live forever. So
why would I care?
So this work that I'm doing is for the next round of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually one of the questions I was wondering, because I was like, what if I did live forever? Would my like capacity for empathy, would my, moral injury, like would all of that be solved if my life was easier? But I'm also like, my life is wrapped around capitalism. So like, are you going to solve that too, friend? Or are you just going to like make my body live forever and produce and, participate in capitalism forever?
Yeah.
Like I assume that I can only handle war and genocide and destruction until I just can't anymore. But will living forever like address that too?
Yeah. It's like using cheat codes in a video game. And now I don't have to do any of the challenges to get the points or the money. So why am I playing? Like, at a certain point, like paying to play. What is even, I really have tried to look through that lens, and I just can't. I don't want to live forever. I just hope I get to enjoy whatever amount of life I get to live.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And those of us with chronic diseases, is like living forever going to cure that too? Because he went into
or do you just end up like a rounded ball of bones and skin? Just miserable.
Like, are you going to cure long COVID, sir? I mean, like, I'm sure he would say yes.
Yeah.
Right. But it seems like what he went into this with was mental health challenges, not like incurable physical ailments. And now has figured out how to say walk again or something like that with what he was doing.
Yeah, he literally said, I'm listening to my organs to tell me what it needs. I'm no longer listening to my mind.
Right.
That's where that like mechanical robotic piece comes in. Cause it's like, okay, so you're just a system of,
cells,
organs that are operating. That's all you're going to pay attention to.
Right. The algorithm. Okay. Bryan Johnson was the first guy that made me start hearing biological age all over the place. I thought he coined it, but he didn't. According to Northwestern medicine, our biological age is how old our cells are. Okay. Chronological age is how long we've toured around the sun. Sometimes these two numbers are the same, but everyone ages at different rates. All right. I thought he made it up, but either he did and now people have jumped on board, or it's been around forever. I don't know. And recently, in the biometrics of it all, people are very into it. More and more devices are getting into it, the Whoop devices. So with all of these, yes, biometrics, and this will just be an Easter egg for folks coming up. I got my biological age for free. Mark was nice enough to bestow me my biological age. And since we haven't talked about how old Bryan is, let me say we're the same age. And we're the same age.
You told me your bio age and I saw his. It just didn't even click.
Right. We're the same age, and we live drastically different lives.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So if he is as old as am I disproving his point? I don't know.
So this is a hot take, probably. I think biological age is bullshit. So
yeah, what?
What cells are we comparing to? What's the data from? Yeah. Is this another instance of it's all, mid-age white men data?
But were we testing their cells? And how do we know that they were their chronological age was their max biological age?
Who set the standard?
Yeah.
I'd love to see more information about it. I did not go into, I was like, that is not a rabbit hole I need to do right now. But
I don't think we need to generally.
It's like, okay, and it feels like pseudoscience. It feels similar. what is it? Your INRJ, like whatever, all those personality tests. It feels like that.
INFJs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my values, when I get blood tests, like I have to get them every few months, whatever, to like monitor some stuff. Some numbers are wildly different.
Right.
In a short amount of time. Some numbers change if I drank more water that morning or ate breakfast before it or fasted. So like, I know those are all variables you can control or should be able to, but it's still like, okay, well, yesterday I ate avocados. Is that going to affect a level today?
Right.
I don't know.
Are my cells younger because of that avocado yesterday?
Maybe. It could be.
Maybe. But yeah, whose cells have we matched this up on? And I'm just going to say again, because I need to, Bryan, we're the same age. Me and all those nitrates and my sleep schedule, and all of these things, seeing people, it seems to be working as well for me as it is.
Yeah. And you're not avoiding living in a world outside of your own bubble.
Right.
And you're not obsessing about it.
No.
It's got to be exhausting to be him.
I don't take 111 or 80 supplements.
I'm happy when I remember my multivitamin.
I know.
That's good enough for me.
We can.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about biological age in episodes coming up, but that's the one I wanted to know the most. That's the biometric I wanted because so many claims are based on that one from our wellness influencers.
Yeah.
Age slower.
Yeah. Our cells are like trees, and if you cut them open, you can count the rings.
Yeah.
As Bryan said.
Oh.
We're definitely as simple as a plant, you know?
Yeah, because our cells are
simple.
as old as I am. Yeah. Like, my cells don't regenerate.
I was just going to say, actually, don't we constantly have new cells?
Yeah.
Another conversation, another day.
Right. So I don't know, honestly, that avocado, if you got new cells today, all I'll say.
It's all gone. Dang. Healthy fats out the window.
Okay. Jen, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to Jen for coming back on the show. Next week, journalist Jamie Ducharme is on the show for my 100th episode. We talk about what led her to cover ultra-processed foods, the backlash she received from that Time magazine article, and what's happened since. We reference my chalkboard of all of the things that led us to make America healthy again. And, maybe we can collaborate sometime soon. Until next time, friends, make things awkward, but not with gene therapy. Bryan is a lot, and for folks who may resonate with some of his earlier experiences, the Suicide and Crisis Hotline is available by dialing 988. This is a podcast by Jessica Wilson and The Body Politic. You've been listening to Making It Awkward. You can support the show by rating, reviewing, subscribing. You can join the Patreon, where I'm going to post my keto loaf recipe coming up here soon. You can also eventually see some of my biometrics. That will be a good time. This podcast has been edited by cult enthusiast Jen Jacobs and is supported by the Legacy of Sacramento Outboard Services.